Border points are swamped with Hongkongers traveling outbound for the Christmas long weekend. Police arrest 9 people over submitting at least 45 fake equipment certificates for public construction projects. And Hongkongers are reminded to keep warm with a chilled deepen on Boxing Day. Good evening and Merry Christmas. You're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. On Christmas Day, many Hongkongers are taking advantage of this year's long weekend to spend their holiday outside the city, with immigration officials expecting today to be a peak day for the land crossings. Jimmy Liu reports.
As the 2-day Christmas public holidays this year fall on Thursday and Friday, residents get to enjoy a 4-day long weekend, perfect for a short trip. At the border checkpoint of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, fully seated buses kept arriving one after another. A father going on a trip to Zhuhai and Macau said he's bringing the kids out to play and to give them a festive experience. After going through immigration, the waiting time for cross-border shuttle bus was at least an hour, with long queues seen snaking around the boarding area. A similar scene was observed at the West Kowloon high-speed rail station, as the departure hall was packed with crowds, including tour groups. Border and security clearance counters were also busy. The immigration department said it would flexibly deploy officers and operate extra counters. Meanwhile, the Hong Kong International Airport continued to see scores of residents lining up at check-in counters. A resident is taking his family to Vietnam for a tropical Christmas by the beach, confident that the sunny weather will be something his children enjoy. A woman has booked a classic snowy getaway in Japan, paying just $6,000 for round-trip tickets for 3, even though her flight departs on Christmas Day. The airport authority has estimated that around 1,200 flights will take off and land each day during the Christmas holiday. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
9 people have been arrested in an ongoing investigation of forged surveying equipment certificates involving subcontractor Novox Limited. Police seized at least 45 suspected falsified certificates submitted to multiple construction sites, including 5 hospital expansion projects. Cheryl Yun reports.
Following a days-long investigation, police seized dust, noise and vibration monitors, as well as at least 45 allegedly fake certificates. Those certificates were purportedly issued by 4 testing laboratories. Chief Inspector Hui Chonghang of the Kowloon West Regional Crime Unit said those centers have confirmed the documents are counterfeit, citing irregularities such as non-existent certificate numbers and mismatches between certificate numbers and their stated contents. Police stated that genuine certificates feature 14-digit serial numbers and 2 QR codes, while the forgeries have only 13 digits and 1 QR code. Additionally, the testing institution's addresses listed on the fake certificates are incorrect, allowing authenticity to be identified immediately. A total of 9 people, including 3 company directors and staff members from Novox, were detained. After police received reports from several organizations alleging that a subcontractor had used forged documents in government construction projects, including in 5 hospital expansion projects and a government construction site. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
The city is experiencing a sharp mercury plunge on the Christmas day, with a strong monsoon signal in force and temperatures dropping 6 to 8 degrees Celsius from yesterday. The observatory reports that a replenishment of the northeast monsoon is affecting the coast of southern China. During the day, temperatures across the territory were already a few degrees lower than on Christmas Eve, and were dipping further into the night, giving Hongkongers a taste of winter Christmas. Residents are advised to take precautions against the strong gusty winds, which are expected to reach gale force occasionally. Looking ahead, the cool and dry weather is expected to persist. Tomorrow morning, the minimum temperature in urban areas is forecast to be around 13 degrees, with the new territories generally experiencing cold conditions. The monsoon will bring generally fine weather over the weekend. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi is racing against the diplomatic clock to secure a Washington visit next March, seeking American support before U.S. President Donald Trump travels to Beijing. Speaking in Tokyo on Wednesday, Takaichi stated Japan remains open to dialogue with China, despite recent friction over her remarks on Taiwan. She emphasized that any engagement must proceed from protecting Japan's national interests and citizens. The Japanese leader also signaled she's planning a visit to the U.S. The Prime Minister's office confirmed it is actively coordinating the trip with Washington, which is strategically timed to precede Trump's stated plan to visit China in April. Analysts see the move as critical to solidify the U.S.-Japan alliance and align policies toward China before a major U.S.-China summit, hoping to avoid being sidelined. If the late March visit proceeds, discussions will likely focus on strengthening military deterrence, boosting Japanese investment in the U.S., and diversifying supply chains for critical minerals like rare earth minerals. In Ukraine, families are gathering for Christmas celebrations marked by renewed yet cautious hope, as President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced a revised framework for ending the war with Russia, potentially involving significant concessions. In Kyiv, dozens of families who have opened their doors to children displaced or orphaned by the war gathered for a special joint Christmas dinner last night. These families provide a vital source of stability for the estimated 61,000 children who have lost parents since the war began. Many of them shared a common Christmas wish, a swift end to the 3-year conflict. This glimmer of hope coincides with a major diplomatic development. In his Christmas Eve address, President Zelensky revealed a revised 20-point peace plan, which he had presented to the United States as Ukraine's latest offer toward ending the war. A key concession in the proposal is Kyiv's willingness to discuss establishing demilitarized free economic zones in parts of the contested East, but only after Russian troops withdraw from these areas. In return for this territorial compromise, the plan demands robust security guarantees, including an Article 5-like pledge from the U.S., NATO, and European nations to provide coordinated military support should Russia invade again. Other critical points include affirming Ukraine's sovereignty, maintaining an 800,000-strong military, and setting a clear path toward future European Union membership. The U.S. is expected to deliver the proposal to Moscow for consideration. However, initial reactions suggest Russia views the plan merely as a starting point for negotiations and would seek to impose stricter limitations on Ukraine. In Australia, one of the first countries in the world to welcome Christmas Day, celebrations at Sydney's Bondi Beach are muted as the community grapples with a terror shooting that claimed 15 lives there more than a week ago. Jamie Liu reports.
At Bondi Beach, hundreds of people, many wearing Santa hats, gathered on the sands, but scenes of festivities were slightly subdued. Police maintained a visible presence following the attack.
No, look, again, I've been coming down here for nearly 40 years, Christmas morning. At this time, it's 7 a.m. I think this is about regular, but of course the tragic events we had a week or two ago may be playing a part, I don't know.
A British tourist said although beachgoers were celebrating, they had the shooting in mind and were respectful of what had happened. This year's Christmas messages from church leaders in Sydney have been dedicated to those whose lives were lost in the massacre.
The poor and powerless, widow and orphan, stranger in the land, all are victimised. We saw it most recently in the unspeakable evil at Bondi Beach.
Amid sorrow and grief, the Archbishop encouraged people to declare that light would shine through the darkness.
Yeah, well, we just pray today for peace and hopefully the future be brighter.
The community is still reeling from the tragedy that took place on December 14th when 2 Islamic State-inspired gunmen killed 15 people, including citizens who tried to disarm the assailants. Speaking at a Christmas Day event, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese described a festive period defined by a sharp contrast between extremist violence and the best of humanity. He announced plans for a National Bravery Award to recognize civilians and first responders who confronted the attackers. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
The North American Aerospace Defense Command has switched on its annual Santa Claus tracker, while also taking calls from children waiting for presents on Christmas Eve. U.S. President Donald Trump answered some of these calls, but injected politics into the playful tradition by promising not to let a bad Santa infiltrate the country. Jimmy Liu again has the story.
Taking off from the North Pole on a magical sleigh, Santa Claus began his yearly journey to deliver gifts to children around the world. NORAD has continued the tradition for 70 years. Using radar and satellites, it tracks Santa's location by detecting lead reindeer Rudolph's red nose. Santa started off in New Zealand and Australia, flying over the Sydney Opera House and other Aussie landmarks. He was the closest to Hong Kong when he reached Asia, stopping by Shanghai in the mainland, Seoul in South Korea, and several Southeast Asian countries. He then traveled to Africa, the Middle East, and Europe, including war-torn Ukraine, before crossing the Atlantic Ocean and heading to North America. As part of the tradition, Trump and First Lady Melania helped NORAD answer some calls from children who want an update on Santa's location.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, honey. Very happy Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Well, we track Santa all over the world. We want to make sure that Santa is being good. Santa's a very good person. We want to make sure that he's not infiltrated, that we're not infiltrating into our country a bad Santa.
Legend has it that children on Santa's naughty list will only receive coal, but Trump joked that it may not be so bad, in a reference to his pledge to revive domestic coal production.
5 hours from now, Santa will be coming down your chimney and have a beautiful present for you. What would you like Santa to bring?
Not coal.
Not coal. No, you don't want coal. Well, coal is... You mean clean, beautiful coal. I had to do that, I'm sorry.
Jamie Liu, Cable News.
For over a century, reindeer have been a legendary Christmas icon as Santa's reliable travel companion. But in Finland, where many of those reindeer live, things are getting tough for the herds, with fingers pointed at a surge in wolf attacks tied to the Russia-Ukraine war. Shiro Yun tells us more.
Juha Kujala, a reindeer herder whose family has been in the business for centuries near the Russian border, told CNN he has recently been finding dead reindeer almost every day. He blamed wolves crossing over from Russia. He said the war sent many Russian men who used to hunt wolves to the front lines, leaving fewer people to keep wolf numbers in check. As a result, wolves have multiplied and are coming into Finland to hunt reindeer. Official numbers backed him up. This year, more than 2,000 reindeer have been killed by wolves in Finland, almost doubling last year's number and the highest since 2013. Scientists have tested wolves over the past decade and found many now carry DNA markers not previously seen in Finland, suggesting they are coming from Russia. Although wolves are listed as critically endangered in Finland, authorities have issued special permits to hunt them in reindeer herding areas. Juha urged those who oppose killing wolves to understand his pain of losing the reindeer and appealed to U.S. President Donald Trump to end the war in Ukraine as soon as possible. Russia's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova responded with sarcasm, mocking the CNN report and suggesting Western sanctions might now apply to Russian wolves as well. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
On to the weather now. Becoming cloudy and dry, the minimum temperature tomorrow morning will be about 13 degrees in the urban areas and a couple of degrees lower in the new territories. Sunny intervals during the day with a maximum temperature of around 17 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. And that's our news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night and happy holidays for you all.